often felt really alone in having a meditation practice. How will I be able to overcome that barrier in your program?
Yeah, this is a great question because so many of us love meditation and we know it's really good for us. There's so many benefits, and it feels like one more thing to check off the to-do list.
Yeah.
And you'd rather be resting or spending time with your partner or working or whatever. And the reality is that if we don't have our practice solid, we can't do all of those other things with presence and love. And so the course is really designed to help us kind of reprioritize, get in better touch with what our motivation is, and tap into a deeper level of practice so that you feel just an incredible amount of care and love for yourself every time you sit down. I think that a lot of times when we meditate, we do it in a way that it's like, okay, now this is a task I'm going to check off. And I want to show people that there's a different way where as soon as you hit the cushion or your chair, all of a sudden your heart's right there. And I believe that through all of the practice we'll do, that it'll be more and more available and so much easier to just crave waking up in the morning, sitting down, or coming home from work, sitting down, making little spaces throughout the day. It's just your special time. And we'll do that through accountability with your partner practice. Your partner will ask you, what are the things that are in the way of you doing this in the way that you want to do it? So you'll get to really kind of unpack what stops you. And then also through the talks that I'll give, we'll talk a little bit about how we create habits. And then through the meditation practices, really dive deep into building an intimate and caring, loving relationship with yourself.
How long have you been meditating?
I've been meditating since my early 20s, so almost 15 years now.
Oh, wow. And in that decade and a half that you've been meditating, what are some of the tips and tricks that you've learned to make yourself sit down on the cushion?
Instead of making ourselves sit down, there can be a much more gentle process. I believe that if we kind of are rigid and shame ourselves into anything, change really can't happen. And so we have to create rituals and habits that feel really nourishing, that feel easy to do. And it's really about starting small and stitching moments together so that over time you just kind of build this beautiful, 30 to 45 minute, even an hour practice or more. And it's really about doing a tiny bit at a time. Every time we make a New Year's resolution and we decide, okay, I'm going to do this 45-minute workout, it's gone by February. And so this is really about enjoying the moments that are super fruitful and super nourishing, and then letting that lead to the next nourishing moment. And when it feels hard to sit down, still doing it anyways, but gathering any kindness that you can to get yourself there.
Notice my thoughts can be all over the place at different times, and I try to control them and try to breathe myself into the present moment, or all these things that I've heard that I'm supposed to do. But right. Yeah. But really what I'm curious about is how am I going to be different after taking this retreat with you?
Yeah. It sounds like right now your mind is fairly unconditioned and it takes you wherever it wants to go. And with some training of the mind, which I know you've probably already done a lot, but we'll just deepen into that, you'll get the opportunity to be in the driver's seat and not be hijacked by all the emotions, all the thoughts that come every single moment of every day. We're reacting constantly to everything that's happening, and it's exhausting. So with mindfulness, with the loving kindness practices, with even the relational practices, we learn how to put our mind exactly where we want it to be, so that I could be right here with you instead of thinking about my to-do list, thinking about what I said 5 minutes ago and how I wish I could fix it. Instead, I'm just right here. I can feel my heart. I'm here with you. And we do that through a lot of practice, a lot of repetition, a lot of coming back. And the number one thing about the way I teach and what I offer is that when we're coming back, we do it with kindness. We don't tell ourselves, oh, my mind's all over the place, there's something wrong here. It's just the mind. It's just what it does.
Yeah.
And so we use all of these practices to have choice. We can let the mind do what it wants to do, or we can say, come on back, I want you right here. so that you have all of the energy and attention available to you in what you're doing.
Who is going to be in this retreat with me?
The top 3 things that people are coming to this retreat for are, 1, that they already love meditation. They love mindfulness. They know that they are going to be able to live their best lives with this practice. 2, for people that want to have a daily practice, that really want to cultivate more and more connection to what they've already created. And number 3, people who are really looking forward to practicing with like-minded people. Often so many people go away on retreats and they just miss having people to practice with, to know that other people are doing this work too. Because, you know, when you're at home sitting on your cushion or your chair, you don't know that there are other people doing this. And so there's so much support in a community, and in combination with just that community support, there's also the relational Dharma practice where we get to practice together to wake up.
So there are a lot of meditation practices out there, and programs and apps and what have you. How is yours different from all the other stuff out there?
I'm so excited about this because it's different in that it has a community component, that everybody who's signing up is really excited about learning how to relate mindfully together, instead of just practicing on the cushion with your eyes closed, finding your peace, and then going out to the world and getting totally thrown off your center. We are creating something together where you practice on Skype or your phone, or even if the person's in your same town, you can meet up. And I'll guide you through really specific exercises each week of how you go back and forth and practice mindfully together. It'll even up your natural communication skills. It'll help you learn how to actually speak from the heart in the moment, instead of kind of thinking about what you're going to say while the other person is talking.
I was just doing that.
Yeah, there you go. So it'll help you kind of just keep coming back to your heart, remembering that you don't have to know what to say, that you're good enough as you are, you know, that you don't have to communicate in a perfect way. And so I'll guide you through a whole bunch of exercises like that, so that we can take this out into the world and be in community with each other and learn how to listen and learn how to speak and articulate things that matter to us.
Are there any last words that you have for people that are curious and considering taking your retreat but aren't quite sure?
If you are somebody who has a longing or a desire to really bring your purpose out into the world, your radiance and your beauty, and you have felt that your heart has been covered or your voice has been quieted, I believe that this is something that can get you closer and closer to feeling your own heart and having your own back. So it couldn't get any better than that.
Yeah.